Yeah. Lanier. Out the mud. Before I get it out the mud, I stay on top of my fitness and hit the shower, clean it up, and then get back to the business. I don't care about who did it, I ain't worried who didn't. I head directly to the back, so I'll be there in a minute. I got expensive taste, the rollie got a different face. For surely I be in them places, they won't let you pass the gate. Post it up, sipping $1,000 scotches with the rock in it. Look.
Episode 14, the How You Doing Show. Randy Lanier, Freedom Grow.
Hey.
Thanks for coming on with
Thank
Rob
you.
and Ricky.
Freedom Grow, help the prisoners, man.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing like exceptionally well. I'm just blessed to be here. Thank you for having me. And,
Yeah.
I want to thank all my sponsors recently. We developed a race car.
Yes.
I think you've seen it.
Yeah.
We're racing to end prohibition. And we came up along a race car. Being with my background, I used to race cars. So we have a 2,000 horsepower GTO that's running the drag strips around the East Coast right now. We just did Bristol, Tennessee last week. We're doing Richmond, North Carolina next week, and then Richmond, Virginia. But we have some really fabulous sponsors that help support us through helping the cannabis prisoners with our WISH program and our other Commissary Connect program. And one of them that really stands out with me is Cannasites. They build cannabis websites.
Okay.
So if anybody's in need of a cannabis website or a website in general, they have amazing tools to get the process done and quick.
And the car, that was the first time a weed sponsor was on a race car, right?
We broke barriers. Usually automobile racing and race tracks don't allow cannabis vendors or cannabis-sponsored race cars. And we broke a barrier a couple of weeks ago. We brought in the very first fully sponsored cannabis race car, and in Martin, Michigan. It was amazing. And
How'd it do?
It didn't make it to the finals. They got eliminated, unfortunately. Only 2 cars make it to the finals in drag racing.
It was close though, right?
So it made it. It got eliminated before the final round, and last week we ended up making it to the semifinals, but we got eliminated for the finals. So we got a couple more races.
Drag car
With the GTO this year, and I just also want to mention Brand Market. Check them out. They sell all kinds of accessories and stuff. Another cannabis sponsor for the cannabis prisoners for Freedom
Brand
Grow.
Market.
Okay.
While I'm on it, I'd like to also thank the other cannabis sponsors. We've got a bunch. Seed Junkie came on board.
Oh, no shit.
And
What,
they
for the
came on
car?
board they sponsored the Freedom Grow for the race car. Ganja Containers. That was another sponsor.
No shit.
Delicioso is a dear friend of mine who I think Richard did 31 years in prison for weed. He's out now and he has his own brand.
31 years.
31 years in
Was he a
prison.
smuggler too?
He was a smuggler too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when the car rolled out on the pit row and stuff like that, did it turn heads? Was there any were people kind of accepting of it?
Yeah.
Or
We got amazing reception. And I got to tell you, the racing world has really opened the world up. PDRA, Professional Drag Racing Association, I can't thank them enough because they had the courage to step up and say, hey, you guys come on in, bring your car, bring your vendors. Let's see what we can do. Let's collaborate.
Okay.
So, future looks bright as we progress. As you know, the stigma on this plant has been way too long with the boot on our neck. I mean, there's no reason why the stigma should be like it is on this plant. And now here it is. We got a racing, PDRA, the first professional drag racing association.
No
the
shit.
first professional racing series allows cannabis race cars on the track.
Imagine they were like tough on cannabis, so yet you can go to some of these events and bring a cool with as much booze as you want.
Yeah, that's a good point because the alcohol is probably the number one cause of domestic violence.
Yes.
Whereas with weed, as we all know, you ain't beating up nobody.
You're hungry.
All you want to eat and laugh.
yeah, and go to sleep.
Time for
Right?
ice cream.
And you were born in Virginia, but grew up in Florida, right?
I was born in Virginia a long time ago.
Right near John Denver.
1954.
Damn.
1954, and then you grew up in Florida. Is that where you picked up
I
the?
moved to Florida when I was a teenager, about 13 years old.
That's kind of where you've kind of seen the racing, right? Is that where you kind of picked up racing down there?
Other than listening it to my family's radio and stuff when I was a youngster, moved down to Florida and started getting involved and going to racetracks. And some of my friends, as we got older, started racing, and it just evolved.
You like the whole environment and the speed, huh? Going fast.
Yeah, in the 70s, I started doing amateur racing with a club called SCCA, Sports Car Club of America. And I highly suggest any families to, if you're automotive enthusiast, check out SCCA. They have amazing weekends where you can just have your family and barbecues and grill, and the atmosphere and the camaraderie is really nice. So I grew up with SCCA. My first race car was a 1957 Porsche racing in E-production, and I towed that car up and down the East Coast, out to Texas, racing what's called regional and national races in E-production.
And did you start hustling before you started racing, or because there was a funny story, right? How you got into the first race car, right? Weren't you going to buy a motorhome or something?
I started hustling at 14 years old.
Okay.
I started selling weed. I got caught with an ounce of weed at my high school. Well, actually, I got caught at the beach. Came to high school the next day, and everybody found out somewhere that I had gotten arrested with weed. And now everybody wants to buy it. And I had a 250 Harley Davidson. I got on my motorcycle, went home, and told my parents, listen, I've had enough. I'm done with school.
That's it.
That didn't fly, yo. No, they said, well, look, you got to go to an adult education and get your GED.
Did you?
So I went to adult education, and it was like it opened up a pipeline for me because all the adults, I had a long ponytail, and all the adults, I was the youngest kid in this adult education. I was 15 years old. And they all asked me, hey, just like when I was working construction,
Can you give me some
marijuana?
weed?
Can you get some weed? Damn, Skippy, you can get some weed. Where do you want it? How much?
Damn right.
Next thing I know, I've got an extra new clientele at the adult education.
So you're selling to the students and the adults at
So
the
I'm
GED
I'm
program.
selling to the
Teacher.
You were
students.
getting a double education.
Expanding your business early.
So the weed thing just got bigger and bigger, huh?
Like anything else, you can evolve it. If you really stay steady with it and you see where you can improvise and make it better, you grow it, you scale it up. So I kept continuing to scale it up like people do industries here.
You were getting better at it, huh?
Getting better and figuring out things not to do and what to do. And, as in life, it's really who you surround yourself with. So it's important to surround yourself with good people and people you think you can trust. And unfortunately, sometimes in life, the people you think you can trust are the ones that you really can't trust. So it's a slippery road when it comes to trusting people that doing stuff in the black market that can cause you to lose your freedom. And I kind of understand it. It took me a long time to understand it. It took me about 18 years in prison
To get it?
to forgive.
Really?
To learn forgiveness, to forgive all the people, the witnesses on my case.
I saw that thing on Netflix, and I saw you said forgiveness, and you really did, huh?
Yeah, I forgive everyone.
You got to
on
be a
my
better
case.
man than me, because some things it's just hard for me to forgive shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So one thing about it, anything that you think is hard in your life, all it is that's your perception. Just like if
Perception is reality.
your perception creates your experience.
Exactly.
And I became a vegan due to some health reasons, and now I'm starting back to eating seafood. Just had some dinner with you with some seafood. But what I'm saying is when you think things are hard, it's how you're perceiving it to be. I don't give a shit what it is, what negative experience you're experiencing. If you're telling yourself, man, I can never do that, that's too goddamn hard. Of course you ain't, because now you just created your own experience.
You already made it harder.
Right.
You already made it hard by telling yourself that.
When you forgave, did you find peace?
But in a big way. So I had 24 witnesses on my case, 64 total.
24 witnesses?
The other 42 people were like rental car agencies, managers of hotels, Scotland Yards, stuff like this. They wasn't into the conspiracy of working with me.
Okay.
And I forgave them all. And to this day, I hope they're all doing good. And here's why. I come to understand to live a life with freedom, you cannot be having resentment or hatred towards anybody because it fucking ties you, it shackles you up. I swear it does. And it took me 18 years because I used to get locked up and get put in the hole, and I'd pace, and I'd start thinking about some of these rats on my case.
You get a lot of time
yeah.
to think.
Now I'm working myself out, and I've got the luxury. I got a single cell, 7x10. I'm chilling. I should be chilling, but now my mind is thinking about all these rats on my case. But I come to understand by letting that go, I go into a lockdown. I'm not hating on nobody. I'm good. I'm studying my chest. I'm doing my workout, my push-ups. I'm loving life.
You're into yoga, right?
I'm into yoga. Not so much like I was when I was in prison.
Right.
I kind of backed off of it. Do some. I got a torn rotator
People
cuff.
don't realize that it's a lot
So
harder
it's
than you
hard
think.
for me to do a plank.
But yeah, I went back and now just trying to, it's just I've always had a problem with my weight. So it's probably all the beer that I was drinking. That helps.
Well, if you're having a problem with your weight, it's just what you're putting in.
Oh, believe me, I understand that 100%. I just, we're all gluttonous.
Hey, is
'cause I
this a
love.
session on the side that we're doing over here? What's going on over here?
But it's turned into a fucking house show?
Yeah, what's going on
I
over
want to
there?
come in you on your shirt yet you got by the blue, man. We was hanging out with those guys today. We played some golf with them.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Mike.
Bada
You're a good
boom.
guy.
Good people, man.
So you're a natural lefty.
Well, I play baseball. I pitch right. I play tennis. I'm right-handed. I play golf. I'm left-handed.
You know what my coach told me? Because I asked him if that made me ambidextrous. He said, nah, you're just confused.
Why, you bat righty in baseball? And
No, I bat lefty and
Yeah.
played hockey lefty,
Yeah.
played golf lefty, I throw right-handed, eat left-handed.
Oh, my God.
So I bat
Frank
right-handed.
Renault left-handed.
Yeah.
I mean, I bat
Ambidextrous
left-handed.
on that.
I bat left-handed, throw the baseball right-handed, play tennis right-handed, but golf left-handed.
Oh, yeah, you confused. It's all right, though.
I've been confused most of my life, Bobby.
So what was the story behind getting your first car? Didn't you meet some guys? You were going to buy a motorhome. You seen some guys racing. And
The 57 Porsche?
yeah, your first car when you first got on the track.
So the first race car that I bought myself was a 1957 Porsche 356. They call it a Porsche Speedster, and I found it up in like a car magazine. It was in Tennessee. Looked like a junk car. I picked it up for $7,000. I had one of my friends go up there and put it on a trailer and bring it back and rented me a little 2,000 square foot shop,
Okay.
work base,
Yeah.
and started turning it into a race car.
Looks like your rookie. Is that your rookie card?
That's my 1986
Rookie card?
Indianapolis 500 rookie picture.
Damn. You, look, were we ever that young, man? Damn.
Oh, it must have been when you were telling me the story before when the guys let you drive on the track the first
I was
time.
32 in that picture.
They lent you the car to
32?
drive. Didn't you say you were going to buy a motorhome? Cash.
Okay, so yeah.
You
so,
led up to that when we were
so
talking.
that's a different race car.
Okay.
That's not my first race car.
Okay, I thought that was your first one.
No, that's a 935 twin turbo, a race car that my buddies owned that they was racing.
Okay.
And by buying a motorhome, I ended up becoming friends, and we started doing business together.
With weed business.
Weed business, yeah. They were smugglers too.
Okay.
Yeah, very large smugglers.
So you got that adrenaline going, obviously, when you're smuggling and everything else. But then what's the difference between that adrenaline and the one that's in the race car?
Dopamine's dopamine.
Yeah.
If that's what you're talking about, the neuropic effect and a high that you get. But when you're on the open seas and you're in a go-fast boat and you're clipping waves and jumping waves and you got a load of weed and stuff, and it's pretty exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
But when you're running 200 and some miles an hour and you got to go left or right, it changes it. And racing to me was the most adrenaline addictive sport I've ever had in my life. Absolutely loved it. And I came out of prison after doing 27 years. I was a high performance driving instructor for several years.
Damn.
Down in Dayton. Was it at
That was at Daytona, Sebring,
What,
and
the
Homestead,
Richard Petty School or
Miami
something like
Homestead
that?
Speedway. No, it was for Corvette school.
Cool.
Yeah.
Damn, I'd love to take a ride with this guy. That's fascinating. Also, on the when you get into the
Here we go.
the number 12 car, why did you paint it red? I was just wondering.
Paint what red?
The race car that was red, number 12.
Okay, so back in the 80s, IndyCar was like a franchise, like an NFL team. You couldn't just show up in the IndyCar and start racing cars. So if you wanted to do the circuit, you gotta
sell weed.
You gotta sell weed, and you gotta have a team that's already in existence, like
Right.
or go through the process of establishing a new team. I have a friend that was helping me with racing and some other stuff. We built a winery and stuff like that, and so he owned a race car team, and I used his team to run at Indy, and that's how the car is number 12, and it's why it's red.
And you, after you got in an accident with that car, how much kind of damage did it? You can put those cars right back together, or no?
After that, that car was junk. I hit the wall at 214 miles an hour.
Yeah, I seen
Holy
that car. It was
shit.
over.
That car was through. Right?
Is there like a blackout section when you're going right into that wall, or what?
I never blacked out.
No, they took him right
cut
out.
Mario
Your
Andretti
shoulder, right?
Mario Andretti had crashed. I picked up debris from his crash and go into turn 3 when the light turned green, and slid a tire and hit the turn 3 wall at 214, crushed my right femur bone, and never got knocked out. Was awake the whole time. After I come off the wall, I slid into the infield, and the medevac, they was there. They had to medevac me to a hospital, but they had to use the jaws of life to cut me out. And it's crazy. So they finally get me on the stretcher, got me on my neck, and they take me to the infield hospital, and I'm telling them, man, I'm in pain. I need something. And they gave me shot of Demerol. Right?
Demerol?
Didn't do shit. Right? So now I go, and I'm really in pain. I got a double compound fracture.
Femur bone's painful.
Broken twice, right?
The femur bone, the biggest bone in the body.
Cracked twice.
It came through the
Compound?
3-layer. It came through my Nomax underwear and a 3-layer driver's suit. All right, so I'm not feeling well. So they finally get me. They got me in a med. They tell me they got to take me to medevac in the hospital.
Yeah.
On a helicopter. They get me in this helicopter, and I'm all strapped in a gurney, and it's a wide door. And they got it, and they get me in, and they slam the door. Well, it hits my fucking gurney. And you gotta understand, I got the bone sitting there, and I fucking scream, and I go, well, no. And they look in, they go, all right, hang on. They adjusted it, and they slam it again. This time, really hard. And it checks and locks. And now I'm going, oh, fuck, get me to the hospital quick, man. So when I'm landing, and I'm trying to see, I'm on top of the hospital in the parking lot. All I see is white coats down in there waiting for me, right? And the helicopter lands, and these white coats come, and they open it up, and it felt like I dropped into infinity because the thing got jammed, and my bone, the femur bone, it felt like, oh, fuck, they just cut my fucking leg off. And I'm going, oh, so they rolled me into the hospital. I said, look, they said, you've got a serious break. We want to fly you to Dr. Terry Tarmel, who's in Indianapolis, to do surgery on your leg. I said, look, I'm not going no fucking place until you give me something for this pain. They said, okay, we're going to give you something. We're going to go check the weather. All right? So I said, well, give me something. So they give me some morphine. but it ain't enough.
Didn't even
I
touch
tell
it.
them again,
were still
listen,
screaming.
Listen. They come back and tell me, hey, the weather's okay, and blah, blah. I said, listen.
Fuck the
before we
weather.
go
Fuck the
anywhere,
weather.
Give me some more motherfucking morphine, and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
They
Bad,
gave
huh?
me some more morphine.
Give me another Daryl.
And then after that, I said, listen, I don't have to go nowhere, man. Fix this shit right here.
Roadside kit.
I'm good.
Wow, that's amazing. So how did you come up with that car? Did you just come across it?
No, they've been the March company, UK, English, a British company, had building these race cars, and Adrian Newley was one of the designers. They helped him design it, and I had raced with him. He came over when I ran the 24 Hours of Daytona in 1983, and I finished second. And he was the designer from the factory that worked with me in 1983.
24 hours of going fast.
24 hours.
Two drivers?
No, we usually, there was maybe some teams of two, but usually 3 to 4 drivers.
Oh, that many?
The rules when I race, you could only drive for 3 hours.
Oh,
And then you had to get out the car.
For how long?
For 3 hours.
You have to get out in for 3 hours, out for 3 hours, and then back in?
Yeah.
Why is that, I wonder?
Fatigue.
It takes that much out of you.
Damn Skippy.
Would you sleep in them 3 hours or like 2 hours of it?
I'd nod out and I'd go to my camper and rest. Yeah, you want to rest.
That's amazing. It's 3 hours, and you'd be driving a car takes that much out of you.
No, listen, the concentration that you take, the heat in the car, the heat's probably about 130 degrees, 120 degrees in the daytime, maybe a little bit more. Could be 135 degrees inside the cockpit. The cockpit is very, very hot, and you got 3-layer
Fire suit?
fire suit underneath of that, a
Sock.
baklava over your face, fire retardant socks, everything.
Wow.
So you not only you getting heat, but you're getting dehydrated. You got to drink fluids and stuff, and it's work. It's grinding. I mean, it's.
But you
grinding.
like that on the edge as fast as you can go, huh?
Well, in endurance racing, you want to as fast as you go to win. What it takes to win.
It
That's
takes
what
a-
I like to say. In endurance racing, like whether it's 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, a 3-hour race, you need to drive only as fast as you need to do to win. And if that's as hard as you have to go in order to stay ahead of your competitor, then do it.
No, I see what you're saying. And so cars today.
You want to save your equipment. So the more harder you drive it, the more brakes you're using up, the more tires you're using up. So if you can run quick without using up your equipment, you'll be in a better spot towards the end of the race.
Cars today versus cars then. How much of a real difference is there?
Crazy amount of difference.
Like-
We didn't have anti-lock brakes. We didn't have skid control on the chassis setup. You know, they got traction control now. We didn't have that. You know, now they do. And all these race
Those
cars.
rotors must have been warped.
What's that?
You must have been like pulsating as you're trying to slow
Yeah,
down.
please.
So back then, it to me, I think it probably did take a little bit more skill because we didn't have the traction control and the anti-lock brake systems
Damn.
that they have now.
And cars are probably, do you think
Right.
cars are a lot safer today than they were?
Probably, yes.
Racing.
With the cage and
Yeah. Not only are the cars safer, but the racetracks are safer because they built better barriers, you know, with this system that they have. Let me see. I went to Indianapolis 500 3 years ago. I went to Legends Day where they sign autographs.
yeah, that's
And
cool.
it was incredible, man.
Probably
I
saw some of the guys you knew.
saw a lot of people I know.
So do you get backstage passes and everything still? or
Yeah,
no?
yeah, they comp me. Yeah.
Just imagine if you guys kept what it would have been. You kept going because you were on fucking fire.
Yeah,
had-
you know, I don't imagine.
No, I'm just saying you had a great start. I mean, you came up really fast in the league, and I mean, just beating that's almost like an independent dirt bike rider winning the national, because you're going against some of the best factory teams, and you said they were spying on you.
Well, they'd come over to the garage area and stuff and want to see exactly what we're doing. Maybe they can spot something and what we're doing. But they wasn't running my type of chassis. They were running a Porsche or a Jaguar or Ford. So really not a lot they could do with, they're running completely different setups and engines and shocks and springs. And
Is that why you were smoking them so bad?
I think it was a team effort, and we had early that car that I brought over from March. The car was a kind of a ground effects type of car that a young guy named Adrian Newley designed, and Adrian Newley is the designer for Red Bull Racing right now.
Really?
Yes,
So the car was ahead of its time, you're
car
saying?
was ahead of its time.
How many people came up to you and was like, "Who the fuck are you, and where the fuck did you come from?"
No, well, the Porsche factory was the ones that would always come by and see what we're doing in the pits.
They were spying on
or
your
the
ass.
garages, and
Like,
they
who
was
the fuck
showing
are
me-
you?
Yeah, because all of a sudden I roll out to, this is a crazy story. 1984, I brought in 155,000 pounds in Redwood City, which is on the Sacramento River, at an estuary that we had a rock crushing quarry at.
Damn.
And I brought the load in, and it was about several days before the LA Grand Prix. I had a little Learjet, flew down to the Learjet down to LA, went and did the LA Grand Prix, and won my first pro race. And my main competitor was the Porsche factory, the Jaguar factory,
Well, they
and the
must have
Ford
been fucking
factory.
bullshit.
It was all the big factories. And they're going, what the hell that happened? So we won the LA Grand Prix. 1 week after that, I go up to a racetrack called Laguna Seca, which is in Monterey, California.
Monterey.
Yeah. I win that race. I got 2 races that I just won back to back, and I got 7 tractor and trailers, each of them loaded with about 25,000 pounds of weed, going across the United States. And I'm going, man, life is so fucking good.
At the same time?
Man. Life is so good. At the same time, yeah. So after I got the load in, I had to shoot down. No time for partying. I'm going down to race. So after I won the LA Grand Prix, then I'm going up to Laguna Seca. My whole team's with me. I go to Laguna Seca. I win that race. Now it's time to go back to the East Coast, to Florida. That's where we live. On the way there, we're in the Learjet, and I said, you guys want to go to Vegas? They go, damn, Skippy, let's go. So I'm staying, they comp me at Caesar's Palace. I used to like to gamble. I gambled under a fake name. And I tell the pilot, hey.
Another passport.
I tell the pilot, I go up to the cockpit, and I say, hey, call Caesar's Palace and tell them you got Ray Lane with you. That's
Lane.
Ray Lane, all right? Tell them Ray Lane coming and send a driver. So they said, okay. So we land in Vegas. As we getting off, the driver of the car, he said, excuse me, sir, are you Randy Lanier? I look at him. I said, what, are you a race fan? He says, yeah, man, I'm one of your race fans. I said, all right, well, you're my driver now. So he ended up being such a good guy. Oh, my God. And
But he thought you were Ray
He thought I
Lane.
was somebody else. He thought I was under another name. That's who he was picking up. But now
He knew-
my
He figured
cover's
it out.
blown.
Yeah.
So now I go to Caesar's Palace, and they know me as Ray Lane. So I get a suite called the Fantasy Suite. This suite is incredible.
What was your game?
So I like craps and blackjack.
Craps.
So when I arrive, I tell the concierge, listen, anybody from my Fantasy Suite, anybody calls, hook them up with whatever they want. Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. So I go to the room and I tell my crew, hey, look, I'm going to go play me some blackjack and some craps or something. I'll be back in a little while. If whatever you want, women or something, just call the concierge. He will take care of it. All right?
And this is the race crew.
This is my race crew. I'm not
were
doing
partying.
drugs in front of them or nothing.
So they don't know you sell weed, the race crew?
No, a couple of them do. A couple of them were offloaders for me. But I put the law down. They're not allowed to talk to nobody
Everybody's quiet.
about what I do. Don't say nothing.
Those are like the guys who like you started with, kind of?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Day
they
one
was my
guys?
crew, yeah. So I go down, I'm playing blackjack. and time goes by, and I thought, well, let me go see how the guys are. Man,
How much did they run up?
bro.
I know if Rob
I
was
come
left.
up, and this living room is huge, a big, round, sunken. Say if this whole room was a couch all the way around it,
Yeah.
every one of them's got 2 women. And the tub, tub's got women. Everybody's like naked.
Yeah.
Champagne bottles everywhere.
They filled
all
it up.
Dom Perignon and Tattingers and
That cost a
all
lot.
this shit is everywhere.
That's what
And-
Rob would do.
How much was
too.
the bill?
Listen, I didn't worry about bills, bro.
Yeah, but how much was the bill?
I talking about
Couple
40
dollars,
40
couple
years ago.
dollars.
I don't know.
And I'm like, motherfucker, these guys had a really good time.
when you're floating, you don't care if it's 100 grand, 50 grand. If you lose 50 grand on
Who cares?
a few hands, you don't care because it's pocket change.
Take us through race day.
Yeah.
Big
Big
Say
race.
what race
Big
day?
race.
Which race?
No,
gotta-
start off with David Hasselhoff. Man, this motherfucker
that's-
sang the national anthem.
That was 1986.
Yeah.
You want
Rob
me to
got
go back
his
to
research.
Indy 500?
What's your routine on race day? You
Are
light
you
up a
getting
big,
high on the way to the
yeah,
track?
are you lighting up a
Fuck
big
no, I
fatty?
don't- Look, I'm going to tell you.
He's
I
focused,
stopped
dude.
smoking weed in 1979 when I wanted to be a race car driver.
No shit.
I taste my weed,
yeah.
but I'm not a smoker like I was back in the 60s and
No,
early
I
70s.
figured you'd be showing up to the track all smoking
Oh,
a
yeah.
bone down
No
in pit
way.
lane.
I was
Hey.
about
Fucking
racing.
Right before they say start your engine,
Clouds
you flick
rolling
that
out of the
motherfucker
garage.
I didn't smoke weed racing.
All right.
No, I didn't.
Why do you think the guy was so fucking fast?
So,
you focus.
I don't know. Weed hones me the
right
fuck
before I
in.
go to Indianapolis, Indianapolis is every May, Memorial Day weekend, I think, end of May. In April, I find out I'm being investigated by the guy driving to my house.
Okay, yeah.
I got the fucking load on the water. I'm racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Indy 500.
a lot of pressure.
My wife's pregnant with twins,
Right?
and I'm going, damn, this ain't looking good. But I'm at the Indy 500. Finished 10th. Rookie of the Year awards. Things seem to be going okay, but yet I know I'm being followed everywhere I go. There's cops, FBI.
Everywhere.
Everywhere I go, they're wanting to take pictures of whoever I'm talking with.
Need some weed on
So I
set.
figured one of my distributors didn't want no part to do with me anymore. I was truthful with him.
Did
I
you
told
try
him,
to shut it down?
No. I went to all my distributors and told them I got heat.
You were straight.
I got heat. I'm being followed, but I think I can shake them. I can, I've moved the
Shake
vessel.
and bake.
I moved the vessel.
Shake and
we're
bake.
going to unload in California, not Louisiana.
And that
so
vessel
one of my
ain't nothing
main
small.
distributors who takes a lot of weed, he says, look, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'll pass. So I had to have somebody else to take his spot. So I called one of my brother-in-laws who's living in Europe. His name's Teddy.
The web's deep. You got people all
So
over the fucking
I called
map.
him up. I said, listen, I need your help. He said,
A
what's
waiting
up? I
list.
said, I need you to take at least one tractor and trailer of weed for me and sell it. He says, all right. He hadn't sold weed in a couple of years. He's been retired.
You pulled him out of
Pulled him
retirement?
out of Paris. He was in France. He came back. To make a long story short,
Don't tell me he got pinched
to
coming
make a
back
long
for this
story
loot.
short, I tell him he wants to. I bring the load into California. He wants his truck delivered to Pennsylvania at a truck stop. That's no
Truck
problem.
stop?
Yeah, that's how we do.
That's how you did it?
And then you just drop the trailer of the other truck.
You take your tractor and trailer, you take it to wherever truck stop, you leave the fucking key on the top tire, and fucking whoever
Whoever takes over,
come and
boom.
takes it. You don't never meet nobody. I told you that earlier.
Yes,
You
yeah.
never see nobody in weed deals.
The best way.
If you're smart, you stay away from meeting people.
So
Right.
people don't know
So
who to
people
rat
don't
on.
know who to rat on.
Yeah.
So now he gets to 25,000 pounds of weed. He ain't sold weed in a couple of years. 3 weeks later, he cashes me out.
Oh, he's right back in.
This is
Right,
my-
he's right back
this is
on
my
it.
wife's brother.
Right on it.
So now when we all get indicted, he's on the list of indictment. He's in there.
Jesus.
The money he paid the money to my guy. You understand? No, they didn't pay me. They paid my accountant.
Oh, so the accountant, yeah.
He becomes a fugitive. for 32 years.
Wow.
Oh, he made
He's
it on the run?
only guy that never got arrested. And he became this
A ghost.
Picasso artist. He's an artist.
Oh,
And
he was still out
became it
there?
under, oh man, he became a troubadour. He's a poet. He's a traveling wordsmith, a poet. He
No.
goes to these
So he's amazing.
He made it?
He's like an art, yeah. But so I get out of prison. He's been out. I get out 27 years.
And they're still trying to find this guy if they get him.
Listen, 32 years go by. I've been out for 10 years this October. I did 27.
Yeah.
So I come out. About 4 more years later, we get a call one day, my wife, and it's Teddy. And he says, look, I'm dying. If you want to see me, come over to Amsterdam.
No
Where you
shit.
went.
So we don't know what he's been doing. It's been 32 years. We go over there, and he's
Thir-
like
okay.
the godfather of NA.
Oh, NA.
Narcotics
Not
Anonymous.
Okay.
He's
Clean
straight.
and sober. They think he's somebody else. He's an artist that is incredibly talented.
Man.
His artwork is
He must have picked up a whole new identity.
What was his name?
Changed
he
his name.
paints under Ted Jackson.
Ted Jackson?
Yeah, but his name's something else.
Yeah.
So anyway,
No, but did he pass? He's passed away now,
so
right?
he says he's dying. You know, come over. He's got cirrhosis of the liver. He's doing this. So he died at his house peacefully. And we had
On
his
how?
last
On
dinner.
his terms.
On his
That's the way to
terms,
do
bro.
Yeah,
it.
that's the way to go.
So
His
that
terms.
Hey,
what was that dinner like after not seeing this guy for
Listen,
30 plus years?
Probably like he didn't miss
I
him.
want to tell you something. He had more hate in his heart. He hated the rats. He hated the United States for their drug laws. He thought they were so draconian. And, you know, he was a nonviolent. This guy was a hippie type of peaceful, loving guy. But he died with a lot of hatred in his heart, you know. And
He fucking was able to get back in the game and move a fucking trailer real quick, though. Definitely good at what he
cash
does.
me out.
Definitely good at what he did.
Yep.
Wow, a guy that got away, like the Anglin brothers in
So he's one of them
Alcatraz.
got away. Go where?
The Anglin brothers from Alcatraz. I think it was the Anglin brothers.
Oh yeah, they got
They
it.
went to-
There they find out that they actually did get away.
Argentina or something like
I just
that.
read an article about them.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It's definitely badass.
Yeah, that sucks, though. You know your friend's out there and he's alive and you can't talk to him for 32 years. And then the one time he does reach out,
Yeah,
it's the last time you see him.
it was my wife's brother.
So she didn't even talk to him either?
No, one of her other brothers was a rat on my case.
Oh.
That's sad, you know. That's why the other brother fled to Europe. He knew everybody was flipping.
One of the cases was you were out of town and one of the guys was using your money while you were out of town and then putting it back in.
I'm being investigated by the FBI in Southern Illinois. I'm trying to work a deal out with my attorneys. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Illinois told my attorneys they said that they would let them know when the indictment's out and I could turn myself in. Well, I come home one night and there's cops at my house and there was 2 people sleeping outside of my house.
Yes.
And
The fuzz?
the driver's one here, the passenger's this side, and I drive in, and these are like big wrought iron gates. Noisy. I was telling you this earlier.
yeah, oh yeah.
And I go in, my wife tells me, the DEA was here. I said, the DEA was here? I didn't even think about it. I said, they're outside the gates. So I drive out the other gate, they still sleep. I go to the hotel, I call my lawyer. I said, I fucking thought they was gonna tell you and let me turn myself in. He says, this ain't the FBI, it's the DEA. You've been indicted on a whole separate case. I said, oh, fuck no. What the case is this? And he starts
Motherfucker.
telling me the people, the names of the indictment. And I go, fuck, I know that guy. I know that guy too. I know this guy. I said, but I don't fuck with them guys. I know who they are and I know what they do. They smuggle weed. Ends up, one of my workers was taking money from one of my money houses and buying weed and selling it while I was out of town and he replaced the money.
Well, that was nice of him.
Yeah, wasn't he making like $100K on the deal or something? It was
He wasn't giving any
£1,000 or £1,000, right?
So that's how the case kind of come about.
Oh.
Because the
he's
people
doing
thought
that.
he was buying the weed. They thought he
them.
was buying it for me. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
they
right,
knew me.
right,
They knew
right.
he worked for me. So they just assumed that, hey,
Oh, they were watching those other
this
people.
is Lanier's
that's
operation.
Lanier's buying this weed. I'm not buying this weed.
Hey, that's a crime
You
of
had your own
opportunity,
weed.
they call that.
I get indicted for a case that I'm definitely was not involved in.
Fucking.
And that indictment grew from 1 count of conspiracy to racketeer to 6 counts of RICO.
So that guy who got you tied up with that mess, did he ended up being one of the ones that snitched on you?
Yes, that guy that got me tied up was
Course.
one of the rats on my case.
Snitch.
Hey, you learned to be creative early, right? Early on in the hustling days, right? Didn't one of the neighbors end up winning a trip to Disney World because you had to get him out? You had to get him out of there.
Yeah, I gotta hear this story.
So in
I wanna hear this story.
1982, that first beach assault, I had a 68-foot trawler, and we brought it about a half a mile off of a house we had leased on the East Coast in Florida, near Fort Pierce Inlet called Sebastian Inlet. There was a neighbor that was not too far away. He was a little ways away, but we were scared that he might see all the activity.
A little nosy.
So we sent him tickets to Disney World for him and his family.
Like he won.
You know? We sent him a several tickets so he could bring in other family members. And they all took the advantage of these free admission tickets, comped, hotel comped, everything. And so we brought this 68-foot trawler in.
Zodiacs.
And Zodiacs.
Yeah.
And we
Rob knows about
taken
this.
all night to unload 15,000 pounds of weed, running back and forth. And the waves was kind of rough that night.
And then the couple walking on the beach probably scared you too.
Oh, it was on it was on Netflix.
It was.
So it was a tough night because the waves was rough, and we lost one of the Zodiacs. I'm up on the house with I got like night vision, and I'm watching, and I watch one of the guys go out, but when he goes up on the wave, it goes up in the air and it flips over.
Smoked.
And then when he flips over, he goes out, but the boat just gets washed. It gets washed down the shore.
And your bales were gone?
No, he was going back out. He was empty.
Okay. That's okay.
He just unloaded the Zodiac.
Motherfucker, get back to work.
But it slowed up our process. It slowed up our process.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I seen like one of the guys was laying on top because there was so much pot, fucking bales in these Zodiacs. Imagine putting bales in a
Well,
Zodiac.
yeah.
Were they 200-pound bales?
No, man. I make my bales 48 pounds, man. I try to keep them light so people can maneuver them.
That was a lot of.
Look, back in the day when I was doing it for other people, they want to get as much as they can in each bale. Fucking 80-pound bales, they will wear out a crew real fast. And I said,
Oh, you were thinking about your employees?
Logistics.
I'm thinking about hurrying up and getting it off the boat. You can run with a 48-pound bale of weed.
Not a bad idea.
Right? So, but we ended up that night, right before sunrise, it was still 750 pounds still on the beach. And I had already left. I told you this story earlier today. I'm driving back to one of my stash houses, and my beeper goes off. I go to the closest payphone I could find, and I call, and it's the guy at the house, at the beach house, where all the weed's stocking up on the beach.
Oh, people
He
must
said,
have been
man,
so
we
happy.
need more help. The sunrise is coming up, and we got about 700 pounds stocked up on the beach, and beach walkers are going to be coming. So I managed to send some people over with another van and another group of
Made
people.
it happen.
And got it all, and made it happen, and unloaded it all. But I learned. So I sent the boat back to Colombia, and this time I got an outdoor AstroTurf carpet and rolled it all down the beach. And
Made
so
it
I had
easier.
a dock make it easier. Well,
Yeah,
they didn't
shit would
walk in
slide.
sand. They didn't walk in sand. They walked on AstroTurf. And when they got to the beach hit, it's like a big beach hit where they had to throw it up.
Big dune, right?
I'd love a
big
picture of
sand
that.
dune, a big sand dune. I had vans back up to this house where a big sand dune was. So what I did then, I got a 4-foot by 8-foot plywood. Put my first van that came to unload, he had in his van a collapsible 18 foot conveyor belt. And I put the conveyor belt at the end of the bottom of the dune where I had 4 by 8 foot plywood, leaned it up against the sand dune, the van right up against it, and I just
roll it
it up from the astroturf to the conveyor
like
belt.
the conveyor with the conveyor with just the wheels on it, like at the supermarket. It had a bunch of wheels on it.
No, this is just a rubber conveyor belt we had.
No shit.
Right after that, my partner, Gene Fisher, may he rest in peace, he did 25 years.
They smoked everybody up and down who didn't cooperate that was tied into this crew.
In my
was
case,
a handful of guys that really got smoked, 25, 30 year
yeah, it
life
was
sentence.
4 of us that got life sentences. Yeah.
Damn.
And then one that got away.
And he never got
But he was one of the 4 who got a life. No?
No, he
So
never got tried. You got to go to a
Yeah,
trial.
yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah.
a fugitive.
Gone.
It was 3 of us that went to trial. The other one was also a fugitive. I got to tell you about him.
Oh, yeah?
Oh man, he's a gangster. So
Yeah?
I'm on the run. I'm in Switzerland, and he's got me a passport. I'm picking it up. I'm paying $25,000 for a British passport.
How hard is it to get a passport?
It's not hard if you know the right people.
Yeah, right.
So
And 25
I
grand.
had a good passport, but I was a little scared of it. All right, because I'm not sure if one of my guys that I know had flipped knew my fake name, right? Because I had used his name at other places. So I wanted a fresh start with a new name that nobody knows.
Fresh social. It
I
comes with
became Trevor Worthington.
Get the
okay?
fuck outta here.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Trevor Worthington was my British passport.
Do you have a widow's peak in that one?
Okay. So,
Yeah, you have better hair than me?
So I go to pick up this passport, and it's my partner who I'm meeting at lunch at this really beautiful place in Lucerne, Switzerland. He says, look, here's what I got. He's a fugitive like I am. He says, look, here's what I got going on. I got a load of hash I'm bringing in to Australia. I said, George, are you fucking serious? We're fugitives, and you want to bring in a load of hash in Australia? You just made fucking $10 million. What's up? He's well already committed to it. And just
Wants
something I've been
more.
doing.
He likes the action,
I
this
said,
guy,
I said,
George.
listen, I don't want nothing to do with it, man. Good luck, all right? And I'm supposed to meet him 2 weeks later.
They
Because
got
I'm
him.
trying to sell. He was partners with me on the casino. So I'm trying to sell my part of the casino too. I want to get out of it all. I want to cash out.
How much
everything.
was your stake in the bicycle?
It was 1/3.
1/3.
Okay.
No shit.
So I go to my house in Antigua. I have a yacht and a house, and I get captured down in Antigua on my boat. 20-some years go by, but the last 8 years, I found out that they had arrested George down in Australia.
With a hash.
They didn't arrest him in Australia. They arrested him in the Netherlands, in Dutch territory in Europe, in the Netherlands. And they extradited him to Australia because he ended up getting an indictment for that last load of hash. They refused to extradite him to the United States because the indictment carried life with no parole for marijuana. So the Dutch authorities, they refused. They tried to extradite him.
Oh, the
The
U.S.
United
tried
States,
grabbing him
yeah,
up?
and they said, fuck
They
no.
wouldn't?
They extradited him to Australia instead.
Oh boy.
Why lenient?
He does 8 years down there.
Okay, a little bit more lenient.
All right? We find out George is down there fighting extradition. They're trying to get him back to the United States.
And they really fuck
And
him.
the same time, it's the same time now that they're about ready to release him out of
Australia for the 8 years?
He's done his 8 years, and it's on my 20-something year, right? He's fighting it like tooth and nail. He don't want to get extradited. He's saying his argument in Australia is that he's got to be sent back to the Dutch,
Netherlands?
to Europe,
Country of origin?
to the mother country that extradited him. He can't be extradited, and he was winning it.
Why does the Netherlands have a no ship back policy?
won't
with
give
Not
you
for
United States?
marijuana. They won't extradite you for a life sentence for marijuana.
Or banking, right? Or,
I don't know about bank. I just know from what George went through.
Okay,
they will not extradite people to United States for a life sentence for marijuana.
Shit.
No shit.
So-
So did he get there?
They know that I guess he's going to win his extradition thing with the Dutch people.
Yeah.
So they agree they'll give him time served. And if he pleads guilty to the cases, so he ends up coming out about the same time I get out. He pleads guilty to time served, and by the time he comes out, he's done with the sentence because they give him the time served on his case in
Done.
Australia.
What, the U.S. with the U.S.?
Yeah.
U.S. gave him the time served from
He
his.
walked out a free man. He did
Wow.
8 years.
Is he still around?
No, he fled the day he got out.
He's in the
He
wind.
I didn't say fled. He absconded.
He's in the wind.
He's in the wind.
Good for him.
Absolutely.
Definitely, probably not in the United States.
When there was a point where, you had everything, right? You were living the dream. You were the dream that everyone wants to live. The houses, the cars, everything else.
He had a lot on
Was
his
there
plate,
ever
I
a
would
point
say.
where, you know what? How do I flip this clean?
So as
Is
I
he-
was growing and evolving and building out an empire, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Real-
Absolutely.
Real estate.
You fall underneath the empire.
Restaurants, casino, mobile home parks. I bought a racetrack and 30 miles outside of Atlanta, 750-acre racetrack.
No shit.
Yeah, so
Your little playground.
as little playground. So oftentimes people that have deep pockets and stuff can lose track of their priorities, and I'm one of the guys that lost track of their priorities.
I think you just wanted to go fast.
I wanted to go fast. I wanted to race cars, and but also was doing other things with real estate and stuff that, looking back on it, would I do things different? Damn skippy, I would have, because I would have. I'm wise enough now to
would've hit
understand
it.
where my priorities should lie, and
Got sidetracked with a little partying.
live
France.
partying. Oh my God, the partying was crazy back in the '80s, man. From the south of France to Saint Tropez to
Did they have cocaine in France?
dude, they got coke everywhere, man. Are you kidding me, man? They got coke in France. Listen, if I'm in France, I had coke because I travel with the shit. I'm a smuggler.
So you got a little sidetracked.
I got sidetracked with, when you make a ton of money and you start acquiring things and Lear jets and yachts and
What
cars.
do they know
That's
you're
a
here,
little low.
Randy?
Yeah.
Went and visited the casino that they seized called the Bicycle Club out in Gardena, California. When I get out of prison, I go out and meet some friends, and we go and meet at the casino. All right, spend the night there and all that. And I leave. I go back to Florida. About 5 days later, I pick up the paper and I see the Bicycle Club raided. All right, and they take out. They got pictures of all these agents taking out all the computers and stuff.
Okay.
I said, damn, I was just there.
They were late.
What the hell, man? And they had already seized it, back in 1990. They seized it, I think, 1990, 91.
No shit. And that casino's still open today,
It's still
right?
up and running.
Who ended up getting the casino?
An Asian
Of course.
organized crime family.
Wait, you can't make that shit up. Who dropped the ball there?
So the U.S. Marshals dropped the ball on that by not vetting the buyers when they sold
Can you imagine that?
the
Not
when they sold
government.
the property.
And that's how like part of your
So
Was that part of your filing?
Yes. So some of my releasing for the government, they filed to release me because we had a potential lawsuit that was going on with seizures of forfeited properties and mishandling of forfeited properties, mainly the Bicycle Club.
Well, it depends on which side of the mishandling you're on.
Well, so the U.S. government was on the wrong side, or they was on that side where they was making hundreds of millions of dollars. Somewhere it went.
What happened?
So
Yeah, you were telling me about this before. Like there was a
this
number.
casino got seized by the U.S. Marshal Service.
Okay.
They're allowed to manage drug-related properties,
Oh.
and it took them 3 years before they found the buyer. But they're supposed to vet the buyer. They didn't vet the buyer. They sold the casino to an organized crime family, an Asian organized crime
That
family.
sounds about right.
But
Through a bunch of shots. They couldn't
somebody
have.
in the service, in the U.S. Marshal Service, kept a kickback for 9 years. and we found out about it.
Like personally?
We never found out exactly where the money was going. Supposedly, there was a fire in the FBI office, and all my documents, discovery was on fire, and
They just disappeared?
They said they never digitized it, and the fire got caught and burned up all the discovery of the seized properties.
It makes sense.
Wait.
It makes sense.
Yeah, Ricky likes fires.
You had a leak. I'm telling you, fires cure everything.
No, that couldn't have been the final answer though. That was
The
it.
final answer is I got my freedom.
That's it.
I'm
Fuck
sitting here
it.
talking to you.
Right.
I know of just Netflix, but were you really in a diner or someplace and saw yourself on TV?
Okay.
Is that a true story?
That's a true story. Yes.
Damn, you must have been bugging.
Here's what my son. I was just telling you earlier. I don't think I finished the story. Oh, when I got indicted, my son was 7 days old. My newborn boy. I have a daughter who's 7 years old. So this is my first son, and
87, right?
he's 7 days old. And on the Netflix show, they see me carrying that little teddy bear.
Yeah.
I bought him a little teddy bear, and I was bringing it to the hospital. My wife had complications. I go to get me something to eat, and I see a TV behind the counter, and it's live news.
story.
And they fucking at my house, raiding my house on TV. So I left the restaurant, and I didn't go to the hospital. I went to I had a separate apartment under
Assumed name.
fictitious name, and I went back to my apartment, gathered up my gear,
And you were gone?
called one of my friends who had a stash house up in Central Florida, like a big farm. I said, hey, I want to use your farm and stay there for a while. I'll go down and grow me a beard and change my outlook. So I went there and stayed until I grew a big, long beard. And then I moved to another. I was so scared. I left the farmhouse in the back of a Peterbilt where the sleeping bed.
Sleeper cab?
Sleeper cab. I stayed in that sleeper cab all the way to Pennsylvania. I didn't want to take a chance, bro. So I go to another stash house. This is a weed stash house that nobody knows but one of my guys that's not on my case. And he's on the case, but he's not in the indictment yet. Nobody knows about him yet. This guy had a stash house that was incredible. A lot of acreage, and he had a big, like a farm part where the horses and the hay.
Okay.
And he had a fireplace in it. And you could go over to one of the fireplaces and move this fucking rock, and there's like a clicker. And the fucking next thing you know, the fucking fireplace comes up out of the ground, and the steps goes down to like a fucking bunker.
So this is some James Bond
This
shit.
is where you see he stores weed. I said, damn, man, look at this shit. I can live down here. And so that was when I got out of Florida, I went to the stash house until I got me a new apartment in Manhattan.
New York, huh?
Yeah, and then I stayed there for a while until I got some new fresh passports. Then I went over to Switzerland and took care of some banking stuff.
Were you actually on like an island and you saw a plane fly overhead? Did that actually happen like that, or was just people Coast Guard roll up? Or
Yes, so I was on an island called I was anchored off of an island called Barbuda. It's the sister island to Antigua. I'd been out in my boat for 5 days, sleeping at just deserted beaches, really living a life.
nice.
I had a girlfriend come down, bring me a bag of Coke. And that was my mistake right there.
The powder, that'll bring you down.
Yes, that was my mistake.
Were they following
because
her?
I was only going to stay there one day. But when I got to Coke, I ended up being up there for 5 days.
Yeah.
So
You weren't that sleepy.
I'm anchored
One
off
day
the
goes
island.
into the next.
I'm anchored off the island, and right before we get into our little skiff, there's a little plane flies over. And I tell my boat captain, what do you think they're doing? He said, oh, they're fucking probably tourists. I said, all right. So we go get our conch. We leave. They go up in the flybridge. They take off. I'm down there just fucking preparing the conch and getting it. You know, I want to have lunch, a nice conch salad.
They rolled on you.
As I leave where I'm anchored, we drive back to the harbor called Falmouth Harbor in Antigua. And it's like one side's a big cliff, the other side's an inlet where the cliff is. There's a cliff, there's an inlet, but there's a reef. So you got to come this inlet. And when you come in this inlet, the big bay opens up. There's sailboats anchored everywhere.
Okay.
So I enter this inlet, and once I get in, I got my binoculars, and I'm looking at all the docks.
That's where you bang the U-turn,
And
right?
as I'm looking, I pivot around back behind me, and I'm in the middle of this big bay. And I'm looking back behind me, and there's a great PT boat back there, about a 90-footer. And I tell my captain, my crew, I said, man, what do you think these guys are doing? Oh, they might ask us for our paperwork because we've been gone for 5 days from the docks. You know, I had changed my flag on my boat. Now I'm a Panamanian registered vessel, not a U.S. registered vessel.
Yeah. Retagged
So I
it.
said, you know what? Pivot this thing around and head back out to the sea. I don't like the feeling I'm getting. So he pivots the boat around like he's going to go out that inlet I just came in. And as soon as I pivoted
Here they
around,
come.
that fucking boat came and blocked the inlet out. I can't go across the reef. I draw too much water. So I'm stuck. I'm landlocked. I'm stuck in a bay now. I said, oh, no, hell no. They're here for me. I got a dinghy on a bow. I said, lower the dinghy in the water. I'm leaving. We get the dinghy in the water. And as I'm waiting, I just got the steering wheel. It's like a collapsible steering wheel. It folds up. I started it. I'm waiting. I tell my girlfriend to get all my passports in that attaché bag with all the money. I want to go. She takes too long. I'm paranoid.
Fucking girls fuck everything up.
I leave her. I go through all these sailboats, and on the other side of this bay is a dock that leads to like a restaurant. I climb up the ladder. I walk down the dock, and I get to the restaurant. I said, no, I changed my mind. I want to get back in my Zodiac, and I can go across the reef. And they'll never find me because the little Zodiac blends in with the waves.
Yeah, you can't even see it after a little bit.
They'll never, and I can go to Maserati, which is about 30 miles away, and I got 2 fuel cans. I got plenty of gas. I go to get in. I'm almost I'm almost at my Zodiac at the end of the dock, and I see a skiff that they launched on the PT boat, and it's got 4 guys. 3 of them's got rifles, and they're pointing them at me.
And that was it.
I said, fuck yeah. I took off running. I ran down a dirt road, and I'm running. I don't know where I'm going now. I'm running, but I know there's a deserted beach on the other side of this, like a palmetto bush, a hill.
Yeah.
All I got's a pair of baggies on. I ain't got a shirt on. Look.
You're bleeding.
I take off, then I see, and I'm on this dirt road, I'm running, and I see a dust storm coming. It's a fucking bunch of Jeeps. They done recruited the local police.
Yeah.
So now I try to climb up this palmetto bush hill, and all I hear is halt or we'll shoot. They're out there, they're on hoods of the Jeeps with rifles, they're kneeling down.
They were going to shoot you?
That's what they told me. I put my fucking hands up. I said, look, okay.
You either got to pick up speed or
Don't
you got
shoot.
to.
Yeah, right.
You either got to pick up speed or you got to stop.
Did they throw you in one of those old jail cells in that
They
part of
threw
the
me in a
world?
closet at the Antigua jail. They take me back and they slam me against the Jeep. And I go, what's all this about?
Like
Yeah,
you
I'm
didn't
not
know.
doing
They go,
anything.
we know who you are. I said, no, you got the wrong guy. And I got my hands up here.
I'm Trevor.
Trevor
Worthington.
I go, honestly, I just checked I got all my identifications on the boat. They pulled my finger apart because I had lost this finger in a accident. An old Mercedes fell on it back when I was racing.
Oh.
So anyway, they said, we know who you are, and they pulled my finger out. I said, well, I guess, I'm thinking to myself, I guess they know who I am.
These motherfuckers know about the finger.
Yeah.
They gave you Vinny the finger.
So they take me to Antigua jail,
That's the only finger that fucks you. That
and they
doesn't
lock me
say-
in a closet.
A
They got
closet.
a dark, little like a closet. They bring me into a room, right? Well, it's one chair and it's a big wooden deck. And the Bahamian authority there, he says, we're gonna kick you off this island as an undesirable. I said, you are?
Perfect.
I said, okay. He says, you're catching the next flight out of here. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. So next thing I know,
Did they tell you where your ticket was going?
don't tell me nothing. Now I got my boat captain with me. So they got me, and he's on my indictment. So it's him and I now. And they take us to airport. And they put us in a little private room at the airport in Antigua. We go out, and there's nobody. People already got on the plane. Everybody got on this plane. They're waiting for us.
You're going to last.
We're the last people on this plane. I get on the plane. When I walk up the steps, as soon as I get in the cabin, there's 2 white guys, and they flash FBI badge. They go, I'm Agent FBI.
I'm cocksucker.
And this is considered American soil.
Oh, when you walked on the plane?
We are changing the flight of this airplane from Antigua to St. Martin to Antigua to Puerto Rico, the closest American territory. And they take me to my seat. The captain gets on the radio and tells all the people, we are diverting this plane. It was American Airlines. It's a company, American Airlines.
Yeah.
We're diverting this flight from Antigua. It was supposed to go to Antigua to St. Martin. We're taking it to Antigua to Puerto Rico.
We got to drop off some luggage.
For all that don't want to get off, please exit now. All that wants to get off now. But if you stay and remain, we'll give you a round trip ticket to any destination we fly. Not a single motherfucker got off that plane.
Damn right.
They all stayed on that plane. Every one of them. And so now
I get the free tickets,
now I'm
too.
going to Puerto Rico. So I get off in Puerto Rico, and we have to go to baggage claim. These guys got fucking rifles and guns and gun bags and all kinds of gear. I mean, they got all kinds of gear. They're getting off the carousel, right? So we're waiting for them. Well, while we're waiting on them, a dozen more agents show up.
A dozen?
At least 6, 8 dozen.
They got nothing
a lot
to
of
do.
cops show up. They're all in like
You're a hot commodity.
SWAT
they're all
stuff?
SWAT type gear.
Everybody
shop.
on that plane must have been
These
pissed
guys,
off.
and
Fuck off.
they start hustling. They start talking in like a group, and I'm like, I'm right near them. They're going, we're going back. We should arrive there like about 2:00 this morning. We're going to take the boat. The boat is in Antigua water, guarded by Antiguan authorities.
With Panama.
All right, with a
tags,
Panamanian
right?
registered vessel. I tell my boat captain, these motherfuckers are going back and stealing the boat.
They're going on
They
holiday.
went back and strong-armed the boat and drove it all the way back to Puerto Rico and seized it. They took it. I mean, cold-ass gangstered it from
How much was the boat worth?
$1.5 million.
You're in Puerto Rico, and you're like, fuck, huh?
Oh, I'm in Puerto Rico, and I'm thinking, this place can be beat. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, you
'Cause
already...
I'm thinking this place can be beat. So I get in, when I get in Puerto Rico after they get me there, they put me in a holding cell with about 15 Haitians, the illegal immigrants. They had come in on a boat that night. It was the nastiest holding cell I've ever seen in my 27 years of prison. They didn't shit in the toilet. They shit all on it. It was fucking disgusting.
Not a good
And,
experience.
I'm going in front of a identification hearing because I haven't told them I'm Randy Lanier yet. I'm still saying I'm Trevor Worthington.
You're still
I-
Trevor
I-
Worthington.
Yeah, you're still
Sticking to it.
You're
I ain't
still
saying-
Trevor with a
no,
bad
I ain't
widow's
saying
peak.
nothing. I said,
I'm
listen,
from England.
No, I don't have nothing to say. I want to call my lawyer. I have nothing to say to you. You got my passport. That's who I am.
Do you put on the British accent too? Or?
Fuck no. My southern accent's British enough.
And then they
All right.
fingerprinted you.
So now they take me to an extradition. But before I go to an extradition hearing, this public defender tells me, you ever been in prison? I said, no, sir. He said, well, I'm telling you what's going to happen. You're going to go to this identification hearing, and I suggest you tell them that you are Randy Lanier and you agree to extradition to the United States.
Much nicer
Because
cell.
what's going to happen is you're going to go to Presidio, and it's the most dangerous prison in the world. And you're going to get your experience in anyway, but hopefully if you waive extradition, you're only going to be there for a short period of time. I said, really? He said, yes, that's the wisest thing for you to do. I said, I don't give a fuck. I'll waive extradition. That night, we pull into this old prison called Presidio. They're torn it down now. And as we pull into these big gates, they open these gates, and I'm in a rickety-ass old school bus chained up with all these Haitian immigrants from a holding cell. They come along with us. As we open the gates, there's 2 guards dragging an unconscious guy. He's unconscious, his clothes is ripped off, and there's blood all over him, and he looks like he's dead. And I tell my boat captain, the fucking prosecutor won't fucking bullshit. And look at this guy. We ain't even here, and they pulling out dead bodies, right? So they open this door, and it's a big prison yard. And you got to go across to the 4th floor, and there'll be a guard that's going to let you in up at the top of the steps. So we go in, we walk in. The prison guard don't come in. He locks the door, and he leaves. There ain't no prison guards.
They just let
There's
you
no
in.
gods.
A group called Yetta had just rioted with a group called G27s. And they took hostages and killed a couple guards, killed some prisoners. And now this prison belongs to Yetta. And one of the rules when they negotiated with the Puerto Rican authorities was there's no police inside the prison. All right, they're just on the parameter on
Like something you see in National
rec
Geographic.
yard, on the inside rec yard.
Wait, so they took over the prison and they still sent you there?
Yeah, the riot that just ended. They just ended the riot like 2 days prior. A couple of guys burst through the crowd and they follow us. So they take us, the 2 white guys, and the Haitian, the immigrants, and we go down this hallway, and there's cells everywhere. There's only 60 cells on this floor. There's 280 men in 60 cells.
You didn't get a cell.
Fucking, it looks. I'm walking between people that are sleeping on the tier. They're sleeping on the tier. So we walk through, and they go through this big like room, and they open this door. Rats and cockroaches go every fucking way, and they tell us, "That's your bid, man." I look in there, and there's like these little pieces of foam rubber with rats and shit that made beds and shit out of. You got to find the best piece of foam rubber if you want to lay on something soft. Oh, we find like a little 4-foot piece of foam rubber, each of us, and they say, "Hey, you're on your own now. Go find a place to lay down."
And that was it?
That was it. So now we go. I can't find a place to lay down. Every fucking hallway's taken. All of a sudden, I see a cell that's got like this hippie like curtain. Yeah.
Oh, like the beads?
But it's not beads. It's like a curtain, right?
A magical place.
And there's no one in front of the cell. So I lay my bunk and I tell my guy, "Hey, you lay with your head facing that way, and I lay that way." We got them both coming in all night long. There's people coming by doing drug deals, all kinds, selling weed, selling coke, whatever they're selling.
Did you get your hands on some weed when you got in there?
Man, I smoked so much weed while I was in Puerto Rico prison. So I go there. Early in the morning, I feel like someone's over me, and I look up, and there's a couple of guys, and there's a morning newspaper, and I'm on the front page.
Damn.
Ex-Pilato, race car driver, smuggler, arrested in Puerto Rico. They took pictures of me at the extradition hearing, and they're going, "This you?" I said, "Yeah, that's me."
Were you like, "Hey,
You're like a hero.
They tell me, "Number 2 wants to meet you." I said, "Who's number 2? They said, "You're going to see." Well, that space that was nobody supposed to be sleeping, nobody was empty at, that's the number 2 cell. He's the boss.
Yeah.
All right? So I ended up meeting a friend for life right there. Guy was a smuggler. He was looking at 35 years on a coke case that he just got caught with.
Damn.
And he's a state Puerto Rican prisoner. And he's the number 2 guy.
Okay.
And
you didn't try brokering a deal?
He's looking at. I go in. He's looking at the paper and he's talking. He speaks good English. He said, "You smoke weed?" I said, "You damn skippy, I do." He said, "All right." And he reached up underneath the bunk and peeled out a little rolling tray, twisted one up. He said, "You smoke coke?" I said, "Yeah, damn skippy, I do."
Fucking send it all.
I haven't been there just one night, you know. And now
Was it good cocaine?
it was good cocaine. We're smoking, we're snorting, and he says, "Look, you're gonna go to lunch here in a little while today, and pay attention to the rules. All right?" I says, "We got certain rules here." Well, I go to lunch and they have everybody quiet. There's no talking in this chow hall. You don't talk when you're there. The reason why is there's too many immigrants coming in and out, and there's too much shit going on. If you're going to sell weed in here, or you're going to sell drugs, you bring it to us, and
You get a percentage.
they get a percentage. The joints has got to be like a certain size.
So nobody can communicate to try to sell drugs in there.
You got to pay off the fucking
They're running
guys. They're running it. All right. If you're homosexual, you got to get married. There ain't no stuff. There's no thieving shit and stuff. Just they lay down a whole bunch of law.
But they're running. But they're running the prison
They're running
though.
the prison.
They couldn't get. They couldn't get you outside the walls of this place.
Yeah, I started talking to him about that. So
Yeah. How long did that take?
The next day.
Day two?
Day two. So now I'm trying to build a relationship because I got to bring some money down here to try to get myself out. Anyway, I asked the guy, I said, look, I came in late last night and I saw him dragging a guy out of here. It looked like he was dead. What was that about?
You didn't follow the rules.
He says, well, one of our buddies on here came up with a gold necklace missing. So we locked down the prison and we searched every fucking cell and we found the necklace in a can of sugar in somebody's cell. So he says the punishment for that, and he pulls out a fucking like a little short baseball bat. He got 40 whacks and he got thrown off the 4th floor.
Oof. Smoke.
I said, holy shit, man.
Swift justice.
So listen, nobody stole the fucking thing when I was there.
Yeah.
He beat that guy down.
Yeah.
So
Well, how
anyway,
long
I was there for 10 days, a little less than 2 weeks, and they extradited me back to the United States.
On a Boeing 727?
They put me on a commercial flight.
Oh, like with tourists and everything?
Yeah.
'Cause it's,
I thought I had a chance then, but I didn't.
It was some of the same tourists that got the free tickets.
So you got back to this.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Oh,
There
fuck.
is-
Hey, saw Randy like, oh,
there
fuck,
is
we're getting diverted again.
Maybe we get another free ticket.
Another ticket.
Oh, damn, we're going back.
Yeah. Fuck it.
So you got back to this country and they extradited you. What state
So
did they bring you to?
I got back to this country after Antigua. We go to Atlanta. They put me in Atlanta prison, and my cellmate is someone I know, Bobby Platthorne. They called him the Black Tuna Gang. And so Bobby and I, and his co-defendant, Robbie Myers, they gave me some advice. He said, "Listen, whatever you do, don't let anybody know where your money is."
Right?
Good fucking advice, all right? So I get locked up in Florence, Colorado, USP, U.S. Penitentiary, Florence, Colorado, maximum security. I get locked up for an escape, a conspiracy, an investigation of an escape plot. I spent 2 years in solitary confinement.
2 years.
Out of the 27 years, I've spent 7 years in solitary confinement for different escapes. Some of them was for dirty urines, THC, because I'd smoke weed. If I could smoke weed every day, I would. You know,
Right,
in the
right.
joint. And
Yeah.
I smoked a lot. while I
Okay.
was in the joint.
That's a lot of time in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Why
So-
why were you involved in that conspiracy to escape? Like
Because I wanted to get my ass out of prison.
So you did have a plan? You
I
had
had
something
a
in
plan.
motion
I had a plan.
for that? What ended up happening?
But they locked me up for 2 years and sent me back to Leavenworth, which I left there. I left in 92, USB Leavenworth under an escape investigation and got sent to Lewisburg. In 1998, I found myself in USP Florence in the hole for 2 years. And then when they released me, they shipped me back to Leavenworth, where I already been there and left in 92 for another escape. So when I get to Leavenworth, they have what they call captain's review. So I'm in the hole for a week or two, and then here comes captain's review. As soon as I go out to, you understand, I'm black boxed.
Yeah.
Shackled.
A prisoner invented it,
Okay,
actually.
yeah, yes. So I go into the captain's review, and the captain there used to be the SIS lieutenant that when I left on 92 for the escape investigation.
Okay.
He was the special police, the secret police there, like the FBI at the prison.
Inspector Clouseau.
So As soon as I get in, I sit down, and I'm sitting there, and the captain just starts reading shit off. He says, Warden, we don't want Lanier here. He left here in 1992 on an escape investigation, and he's back on another escape investigation from USB Florence. It didn't take him 2 seconds to say, well, send him back to the bucket. All right? So off to the shoe I go.
Well, they had good cause though. Wasn't one of the escapes involved like a helicopter or something with one of your co-defendants or something?
So
when you first got in,
one of my co-defendants tried to escape out of FCI Miami and crashed a helicopter and took down about 150 feet of fence and broke the pilot's back.
He crashed it. He took the helicopter and crashed it. Damn. He didn't know how to fly it right.
No, he knew how to fly it right.
What happened?
My partner didn't get in the helicopter the first time he tried to jump in. He yoked it, and the helicopter took off.
Oh, he hit the collector. They call that thing.
He didn't get in the seat, so the guy had to hover back. And when he hovered back down, he didn't land where he was supposed to. He hovered back. My partner got in the passenger seat. He pulled the yoke. The tail rotor hits the concertina wire.
That was
and
done.
Flipped over the helicopter.
Damn.
Took down all the fencing and stuff.
Imagine that taking off in a helicopter.
right from a federal detainment center,
he was
right?
in the hole at the time.
Oh my God! Weren't you involved in that too? But they shipped you out just
Allegedly.
before something, right?
Allegedly.
I had left about a week prior to.
Yeah,
another facility.
allegedly. We
Imagine
don't want to
that.
throw you in the pot.
We're thinking about it.
I thought
We're
about
thinking
it a lot
about
when
it.
I first went in. I was a young guy, had a lot of money, and I figured if I couldn't get out through the courts, I'd figure a way to get out myself.
So you've been in there 27 years. There's got to be bonds with guys that you've met on the inside
Oh
that
yeah,
you still talk
I
to on
met
the out.
and,
Like your other
some
buddies the other
really,
night.
really solid men that I'm proud to know them. They're my buddies. Myself, I was kind of picky with who I chose to be acquaintances with because in the yard, you're kind of a reflection with who you walk with. Who you walk with, you've got to kind of be choosy because it's a kind of reflection of who you are, what you're about. So the people I walked with was guys that were serious people that had a lot of respect, and it goes a long ways. In the joint, respect goes a long, long ways. It can actually help you squash stuff in other groups. If something happens, if they respect you and your crew, and you come on and say, "Listen, you can't be putting your hands on that guy. He's with so and so. He's with this car." You know, the Boston crew had a group that was really, really phenomenal. A lot of them guys I met from Charlestown, bank robbers, was serious guys, and just was
Charlestown.
all about. They stick together. The people that was from Boston and stuff. So one of my buddies just got out, Johnny Barton. I want to just shout out to him.
Yeah.
He just came home a year ago, and he just got his ankle bracelets cut off yesterday.
Oh, good for him.
So,
They should have had a party for him.
yeah, we saw them last night, and just big time, big fun. Being around with people that are solid men like that.
But when you were in and you knew, listen, I'm out, I'm never getting out, right? And how much time did you end up doing?
27 years.
27. And then you found out that day that, hey, there's a chance I might get out. Was that like miracle? What's going on? What's going through your head on that day?
Well, it took me 7 years of struggling with some court issues that we was battling back and forth. So I knew we had some strong arguments. And when we finally did win a hearing and the government had decided to file their own, what they call Rule 35, they filed a motion for me to be receive time served. I had been sentenced to the remaining balance of my natural life with no parole, natural death. When that day came, I'm on the phone I'm in a court hearing at my counselor's office, and the judge ruled in my favor. It was amazing. I left that office just know that I'm going home within the next 30 days because the judge had ordered the U.S. Attorney's Office the Department of Justice to release me within 30 days. And they used all 30 days. They could have let me out the next day. But I knew I was going home and I was going to be with my family and be on the other side of the wall. Freedom is an amazing thing that we take for granted because we live everyday life out here in this free world. And a lot of times it's easy to not start your day with gratitude for what you do have, the little small things, but I've come to understand gratitude is like the biggest life changer in our life. Living with gratitude, just by starting your day, before you even put your feet on the floor, telling yourself, you know what, man, I'm so fucking grateful, man. I woke up. I'm good, man, you know? I mean,
I'm going to have to write that down.
To have the consciousness to be aware that you are aware of, gratitude is amazing things. And I say this, and I'll continue to say it, that is, living a life of gratitude creates abundance in all areas of our life. So I was just so grateful the day that I got the judge ruled in my favor to give me a release date after 27 years of imprisonment.
Where did you find this? Did you find this patience in jail?
Patience?
This calmness in jail, this overall well-being thing?
Yes.
How long were you?
To answer that question, yes.
How long were you in before it? Because I know you go in and you go through different stages of incarceration, and it was a long time. It's not like a couple of weeks.
Having your freedom taken from you is a lot, because it causes trauma to your brain and whatever. You think, damn, man, I made a bad decision here, I don't want to make those other choices. It took me, I'm a knucklehead, it took me 18 years.
18 real years.
Before one, I really came to an understanding that I didn't want to be hating these people that cooperated against me. No one put me in prison but me, myself. These witnesses that testified against me, I got a different outlook. They're not the reason I'm in jail. It's the choices that I made, for real. So too many people go to these penitentiaries and they hate the fucking rats and they want to kill them and they stab them and they beat them up and all this stuff. But it took me 18 years to understand, you know what? I'm better off for myself to have forgiveness because it releases you from resentment, which can cause other things to materialize within your thinking. So it took me 18 years to understand that.
A long time.
My wife, my son, and my daughter picked me up in prison and took me to my mom's house. And may she rest in peace. She used to always tell me, I'm staying until you get out. I'm going to be around here until you gain your freedom. And she did. And my dad died while I was in the joint. He went to prison for 3 years for
I saw that too because of the money they buried.
They put him in for 3?
Yeah. And he did every day of 3. He didn't get no good time because he refused to testify at a grand jury hearing.
He had nothing to say, huh?
He refused to go.
That's awesome. That's a stand-up father right there.
So I get out of prison, and I drive to my mom's house. They drive me to my mom's house. We're about a couple hours from the prison. And my first meal was steak and eggs. And shrimp and grits.
I love grits.
Grits.
How do you like them? Al dente?
My cousin Vinny.
You know, a few different ways you can make them damn grits down south.
Now, are these instant grits? Are these instant grits?
Instant grits.
Come on,
Are these magic
don't be
grits?
disrespectful.
That's from my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
There's no
these
instant
magic grits.
Yeah, these magic grits.
No, Randy, you definitely are a fascinating guest. I mean, it's just amazing.
I got to tell you a funny story.
Fucking send it.
So I get a life sentence. I get 40 years. Life. I get life, 40 sentence, 40 years on conspiracy, and a 5-year running consecutive on a tax charge. So I go. They ship me to Miami. This is out of Illinois. Now I'm in Miami. I got life and 40 years. And
Yay.
I got 6 count of racketeering. And the government is offering me to drop 5 counts if I plead guilty to 1 count of racketeering. They'd give me a 5-year sentence, run concurrent with my life sentence. It's a sweetheart of a deal. I don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in a trial, blah, blah. So I said, all right, I'll take it, but I got one condition. He said, what's that? This is my lawyer. I said, I want a brand new pair of New Balance 1500 running
New
shoes.
Balances.
All right. So he says, yeah, that's your condition? I said, yeah, I want a brand new pair of 1500 New Balance so I can run in the prison.
Wait, didn't you run like long distance?
Yeah.
You like the New Balance? They were in Canton.
Back in the 80s, that was my
They were
shoe.
based in Canton.
That was back in the 80s, that was my shoe. 1500.
The New Balances.
So listen to this. This lawyer goes to the U.S. attorney and tells him, hey, his client accepted the deal, dropped the 5 counts of racketeering. He'll plead guilty to 1 count of racketeering, run the 5-year concurrent, but he wants a pair of brand new shoes at the courthouse when he comes so he can wear them back to the prison. The U.S. attorney agreed to it. So I go to court. I'm in my jumpsuit. I go to court that day. There's my attorney sitting beside him. There's my brand new box of running shoes.
You got the New
Never seen this
Balances.
shit in my life, man.
You can't make
the
that
judge
up.
is out there, and it was like a comical thing because, well, I guess we got his shoes for him, and the government agreed to give me a pair of brand new shoes. And I wore those shoes until I wore them out.
You wore them, there was nothing left, huh?
Yeah.
Better than a pair of Bobos.
Where can somebody get the book if they want to get the book?
Oh, the book's available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com.
Oh, yeah, Amazon. You said that.
Is there an audio? Because Rob...
Yes,
Yeah, you need an audible.
There's an audio.
Do you have any cassette audio? I mean, I'm a little stuck back there,
A
too.
cassette. They don't make them no more.
Oh. Maybe a CD.
Can be arranged. Can be arranged.
Hey, did you show the book?
Survival
It's a
of
1X,
the
Rob.
fastest. Weed, speed, and the 1980s drug scandal that shocked the sport world.
How long did it take you to write the book, Randy?
8 months.
8 months?
Yep.
Did you write it while you were inside or after you got out?
I wrote it a couple of years ago at my house.
This is a true story. Some of the
Yep.
names have been changed.
Yep.
I like that.
And part of the book, you actually signed up with like a movie finally picked up.
I wrote a book called Survival of the Fastest, and just recently optioned it for a full feature film. Super blessed, working with some great people.
And they actually hired a screenwriter at this point?
They've attached a screenplay writer and an actor. It's in confidence right now, but yes.
And this is the farthest it's gone into the process.
This is the farthest that it's gotten.
Is the actor well
What a
known?
ride.
Is pretty well known. And the next step is attaching a director.
Director?
Yeah. Then there'll probably be an announcement.
So the director's the final step, and then they
There'll
probably roll
be
out.
an announcement, and financing is the final step. Getting the 75 million or 60 million, whatever they need to finance such a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the next step.
How tough was it writing the book?
The book was pretty easy.
Well, if
Easy?
you're telling the story, I mean, it's your world.
Yeah, the book was easy.
Just kept on.
There's things that happen. And then I had a buddy of mine who's a writer help me structure where I should put it.
I think this is the book.
Oh, you got it right there. Survival the Fastest.
Yeah, we got to get that thing autographed after.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bring it on over here. What you waiting on? Give me a pen.
Send it. Pen, Sharpie, pen. A little content creation here.
You don't got a Sharpie?
I got steamed. I got to have a sugar cube here.
Hey, you
Yeah.
asked me too. You asked me about what would I tell the people that are hustling. And look, every day that we wake up, one of the things that I like to say, you know what? I'm going to be a better version I am today than I was yesterday.
Amen.
And I'm telling you, by waking up in the morning and giving yourself that early morning gratitude, it just starts your day.
I'm doing that tomorrow. I will send you an email.
Tomorrow,
And
man.
make your bed.
Hey, I make my bed every morning, man.
Rob hasn't made his bed in
Yeah.
years.
No, I make it every morning. I take
Rob
that.
sheets just stand.
Somebody get Rick another
2x4s.
drink.
Interesting story of Randy Lanier.
Very interesting.
Rookie of the year, then federal inmate. What'd you say, though? You had a good 10-year, 12-year run, like on top of the world?
With
I think he had like a good 20-year run.
Well,
Like living high on the hog?
1974 to 1986 was my run.
That was a good
But
run.
the government only knew about 82 to 86.
Oh, they
That's
didn't charge
it.
you with the rest?
No.
They got a freebie. They call that.
Survival of the fastest.
I like the mustache.
Weed, speed, and the 1980s drug scandal. You were in, were you in Sports Illustrated too?
I was in Sports Illustrated
Was that before the bust or after the bust?
Before.
after I came home from prison.
You still got
Oh, they did a story when
Oh,
you
you
came
did?
home.
Yeah,
After?
yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
you
pretty
still
good
got
article.
that? You still got the magazine,
What?
the Sports Illustrated?
I do. Yes, I do. Got it in my bedroom.
I remember that Camel racing circuit. Camel used to sponsor the cigarettes. Used to sponsor
Yes.
those races.
Yes, they
Camel.
did. Yeah, Camel.
You know, you collect the things, get the points,
what,
get the
Winston or
prizes.
something?
I
like
won
that?
so
You
many
remember
races
Winston?
with in the Camel Series. Well, we went to the West Coast and we won all the races, right? So I had my crew make up this T-shirt. Then they had a camel on the back of the T-shirt, and it had like a mohawk. I had the tires that went over and cut all this hair off, and the car underneath. So he just rode over the camel,
Right.
Yeah.
And then it said how the West was run, Blue Thunder Racing, and it listed the races we won.
The Blue Thunder name. How did you come up with that?
I bought a tractor and trailer to haul some of my. I had ordered a brand new tractor and trailer. I had a custom made rig.
You run Peter Kenworth.
My first one was a Kenworth.
Okay.
But I bought a tractor and trailer, and my tractor and trailer is being made. Well, the guy shows up, and on the front of the tractor and trailer it said Blue Thunder. I said, you know what, dude? I'm going to name my team Blue Thunder out of respect for you letting me use your tractor and trailer.
That's pretty cool.
Hell
That's
yeah, solid.
That's how I named the team Blue Thunder. Out
Well-
of respect.
How long did, after you got out until you linked up with the Freedom Grow org?
So Freedom Grow linked up with me while I was in the joint.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't called Freedom Grow at the time. It
Okay.
was called Lander's Prison Project. Stephanie Lander, just love her to death. She's 78 years old. She's the founder of Freedom Grow.
Okay.
She, in her 60s, she's a grower. And she had gotten a license and approval from Oakland, California to cultivate cannabis. This is over a decade ago. And so she started growing weed
Okay.
legally by the state of California. The federal government ended up indicting her, and she catches a case, and she ends up getting 5 years in her 60s. She goes, does her time, comes out, and starts a nonprofit organization which morphed into
Freedom Grow.
freedomgrow.org.
If somebody wanted to donate to Freedom Grow, how would they go about
Glad you
doing
mentioned
that?
Freedom Grow.
Yeah.
So, look, I am so blessed to be in a position to help cannabis prisoners, for real. You know, it's amazing that we come across opportunities, and as I say, you hear me talk about, listen, what's your priorities in your life? What's your purpose? All right? You know, a lot of people, a lot of men and women go through their life, and they might be 50 or 60 years old and go, man, I've never fucking even thought of my purpose. But that purpose has changed throughout our life as you grow and you go through your journey, you do your journey. And throughout our journey, there's many different purposes. And if you don't know your purpose, it's really simple. Look into your heart and see what breaks your heart, and you'll find a purpose out of that. You see a lot of people, like a lot of prisoners, come out and they want to help the other prisoners. Well, they jive with it. It sticks right here. So one of my purposes, and I have many,
Yeah.
one of them is to be of service to others, which are my brothers and sisters that are still incarcerated for this plant. So we at Freedom Grow, we're like a grassroots group. We're all volunteers. And we do things to help the prisoners and their families and their children. We have right over 300. We just vetted another 30 prisoners within the last week. And I say vet. When a prisoner contacts us and says, hey, I'd like to get on your list.
You got a water?
And we have to vet them. We have to make sure that they are who they are, because
Check out their paper.
we have to check out their paper. So we got a service that we do.
That's the word, I guess, the lingo.
And we read their case, and we make sure that they are cannabis-only prisoners. I'm not trying to support pedophiles and people that have done some nasty
Dumb question.
shit. And so we have a bunch of programs. We got a wish program I mentioned earlier. We grant wishes to weed prisoners, and it can be something as simple as a bedroom slipper for the grandmother, or a robe, a birthday gift,
that they
flowers,
can't provide,
chocolates. We send it from
School
the inmate.
supplies.
School
for the
supplies.
kids.
We do back to school. We got a stationery program. We send a box with stationery, pens, and stamps so they can write to their loved ones. We got a Commissary Connect program. We try to send money to pay for their emails and their phone bills. Each month, a federal prisoner gets 300 minutes per month. That's it.
That's it.
That you get 300 minutes per month. You have to pay for these phone calls. So we like to help pay for their phone calls so they can stay in communication with their loved ones. Keep that bond going, because it's really easy to get kicked to the curb, especially when you don't have no commissary to even communicate or to buy stamps.
But yeah, it's fascinating how, because we had Travis on here, and I never knew about in my life how many people were in jail, but now you got states where it's legalized and they're selling it, dispensaries grow. It's just, you think at some point they would change. And also,
Education is the key. And that's what Freedom Grow does.
Isn't
We
that the
educate
truth?
people. We also educate people about jury nullification. You have the right as a citizen to vote your conscience. So the U.S. government will not tell you you have that right. They will also not allow the defense attorney to tell you that right. So here's what happens. The U.S. Justice Department will tell the juror that if the evidence shows that the defendant committed the crime, the facts show that the crime was committed, you must convict. But that's not the fact of the matter. You have the right as a citizen to vote your conscience. And if you think the time doesn't fit the crime, you can vote not guilty. It's called nullifying the jury. But and you at trial, you're not allowed to explain that to the jury.
And what does that end up doing for you?
That ends up getting a hung jury. That ends up squashing the case if they're voting not guilty because they think the 20 years is too long of a sentence for cannabis.
No shit. Has anybody had any?
Yes, there's a guy called Weedman in New Jersey who's got, I think, 3 cases of weed nullified. He beat just for that.
Minor stuff, or did he?
No,
get
he was
caught with
probably
weight?
distributing cannabis in a larger. No. Anybody that gets arrested, it's injustice that no one should get arrested for a friggin' plant. I mean, think about it. It's a plant.
Right.
You know, it shouldn't be a crime. So now, get this out. If I get caught with 100,000 pounds of weed, it's not the weed. If I didn't pay my taxes, charge me with a tax charge.
Tax
It carries a
evasion.
maximum of 5 years. I just sold 20,000 pounds of weed, and I didn't claim the income, and you busted me. Charge me with tax problems, a tax charge.
like they got Capone.
Not a distribution of a Schedule I narcotic that carries a life sentence.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Charge them for the right thing. You're not paying your taxes on a product. I get it.
So they balked on the reschedule, and they're not going to do it after.
No,
So if it's a
they're
different
having a
if it's a different
after
regime,
November election, they're having a town hall meeting like with the DEA and a discussion.
but that could be a whole different regime. Could be all sorts of changes. So they balked on it this year.
Yeah, it's not happening this year.
That sucks.
Talk about people getting screwed.
Yeah,
Are you guys on?
and that's been happening for decades.
Are you guys on Instagram?
Freedom Grows on Instagram. We're on
Any other social medias?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, TikTok.
And they can make donations direct to the website, Freedom Grow.
Please go to Freedom Grow, and you can make donations right there. We're always looking for volunteers, too.
Yeah. And a lot of these shows that you guys do, are they like inmates that you've helped through the program?
Yeah, a lot of volunteers are inmates that we've helped while they was incarcerated.
That's good.
We're working on doing something that...
You're really getting around these days, huh?
Well, being that I'm with the Freedom Grow, it's a constant struggle to keep us sustaining, because the WISH program, Commissary Connect program, all these programs takes funding to help support. I'm constantly trying to get the legal market, the people involved, to come and really be about it, be about helping the people that built this industry up. This industry legally didn't just occur overnight.
No.
It happened. This cannabis industry has happened over decades of people getting pinched, going to prison because the demand for marijuana was there. Entrepreneurs supplied that demand and kept the market afloat and built it up.
Right.
Now the legal people come in, the corporate people come in too, and want to.
They just act like they just invented it.
And they had nothing to do with. They're standing on the shoulders of the men that are.
They didn't earn their
prison.
bones.
They're standing on the shoulders of the men and the women that are still in prison, and it's sad trying to get money from these people, and their margins just don't let it happen. They tell you we just don't have the margins.
So
you wouldn't be here if these people aren't in prison for your ass. You're standing on the shoulders of these men.
And now they're selling it legally. Damn.
Loud weed.
What do you think about the weed scene these days?
Look, from my point of view, the best weed, and no disrespect to all the growers. I love the weed that they grow. I love the taste. I love the terpenes. But the weed back in the 80s had a lot longer legs.
He's right.
It just, you could smoke a joint and hours.
Colombian Gold.
Of hours. The legs were a lot longer, meaning it would sustain you.
He's right. I remember it had some seeds in the bag, and it had that certain taste to it, and you'd get steamed for like 3 hours, 4 hours.
The legs were long, bro.
Yeah, and I kept this, man, and that was the best weed, and I know, and it had that specific taste, what I wish I had some right now.
Yeah. So I want to bring back some land-raised.
When you going?
Land-raised strains, but it's really hard to find the real original.
Would you have to go to Colombia?
Genetics. Even in Colombia, it's hard to find down there. I've got some people that are doing some seed operations now.
Yeah, you still got connects from back in the day that are operating down there that because you got to grow. You got to grow. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Going on?
Sure. So this is ironic because in 1987 they sentenced me to remaining balance in my natural life with no parole. I do the 27 years. I get out. 2.5 years ago, I filed for a social equity cultivation license in the state of New Jersey. And I was awarded a Class 1, 75,000 square feet of canopy license.
Damn.
So that's about a little over 100,000 pounds of weed I grow a year in New Jersey.
Right now?
So, I'm about halfway through a build-out of a 56,000 square feet
How are you,
facility.
you know what, man? You find that Colombian Gold
But
strain?
100,000 pounds, that's like nothing for you.
I can extend it to 150,000 if I'm reach my full first footprint of 75,000 square feet.
Colombian Gold. If you could find that, you would be my fucking hero.
Yeah,
I'd be my own hero if I found out.
Yeah, didn't you say if Rob smoked Colombian Gold?
I guarantee I smoked
in the 80s. It was from you.
Yeah.
No, Colombian, gold,
Yeah. I remember buying it.
Colombian Gold.
I buy an ounce was $40, and it would have some seeds in it, and it was the greatest wheat. You know what? It, like you said, it had legs.
Good, had legs.
It was. You get steamed for like 3 hours off it. Now you smoke some weed, you're like a high like for 20 minutes.
Same with the Punta Roja. That was really good, tacky, sticky. When it was fresh, it was super good.
Because I remember around that time in the 80s they had this stuff called Thai stick too.
Oh, I love Thai sticks.
Yeah.
I like tie sticks, untied tie weed. They started first with the tie sticks, and then they started.
And then the
bringing
green
in-
Sinsemilla came in like 85, 80, and 85, and that was the new thing.
Yeah, a lot of the skunk weed and the different Hawaiian weed was super good.
Maui Wowie,
The
Hawaiian Gold.
Kona Bud.
I mean, we had some different strains in like that. The Colombian Gold was like one of the best. You could find that original strain and just grow a whole warehouse of that. I'm coming over.
I'm kind of working on it.
I bet you'll find it.
You know, it seems like they just all these hybrids. I don't know how it disseminated it through the years.
Too much mixing.
It's just, I don't know. I guess there was no one at the time keeping the genetics going. So it turned in 10, 20 years later, it's the new hybrid.
Like the seed bank the government has.
Right, yeah.
They didn't do that, I guess.
Well, that's because, look, the United States screwed us in keeping it a Schedule I narcotics and putting it in Louisiana, Mississippi with the research because they couldn't grow no good weed to research to begin with. And the Israelis were smart. They're way ahead of us, decades ahead of us with research and data about the cannabinoids and the plants and all the molecular structures that's within the plant. We're way still behind the curve. Nothing
Kentucky.
become of it. They kept it a Schedule I, so you couldn't get the grant money and stuff to do the research on
They
it.
were suppressing it.
They were suppressing it.
Didn't they change that in 2018?
No, nothing's changed. It's still
didn't
a
they
Schedule
change it?
I. It's a Schedule
No,
I
still.
narcotic to this day, right?
And that's
now.
the big thing. There's a big push that they're hoping that they were going to change that.
Yeah, so right now the DEA had public comments for 60 days. There's been thousands and tens of thousands of comments. So they just published that they're going to have a hearing about all the comments after the elections in November. So they're going to make a decision. Supposedly,
Oh, so they're not even going to do it before.
coming up. They're not doing it before, but they're talking about rescheduling it. I'm not for rescheduling it. I'm for descheduling the plant. It shouldn't be scheduled at all. It should be.
True that.
If you want to grow a plant at your home, well, you can grow a tomato. I mean, why
Right.
can't you grow some flowers? So we have a push going on. We lobby. I was at Washington, D.C. on 17, 18, and 19. Freedom Grow. We was lobbying for descheduling the plant, not rescheduling it. We coordinated with 27 other organizations. Last Prisoner Project and Freedom Grow. It's two of the main organizations that got together along with the SSDP, Students for Sensible Drug Policy. And we lobbied for descheduling the plant and expungements. All these cannabis prisoners, bring them home, let them out of prison. So we hit every congressman and representative. There was probably 500 people that was organized to do all this. So we're out there trying to not only help the prisoners, but help get the stigma off of this plant, that this is true indeed a plant that heals and shouldn't be a Schedule I narcotic.
That's good. You got anything else, Rob, you want to ask Randy? Randy, I think we covered it all, right?
You covered a little bit.
A little bit? A tad? What else
we
did
need
we
part
miss?
2 and part 3.
Yeah, I know, Randy. You know what?
I
He
got a
had
lot
some
of
good
notes
stories
here.
when we were on the course, and I was like, maybe he doesn't want to talk about him. I was trying to.
Tell me, what story?
No, just like how you had to offload. The guys fucked up the skiff, then there was like a shootout, and the warehouse burnt down.
Oh, that was the whole, yeah.
yeah,
that
you
was
know what I
with-
mean. And
that
then
was
because you touched on
the
how you.
blockade runners.
That was when you went out on your own after that, right?
Yes, that was when I had trouble with.
That's why I was trying to get that story out
Oh,
earlier,
okay.
and I was like,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you don't want to talk about it.
No, it's all good. Listen, I'm good. The past is the past, man. Statutes of limitations over, man. Shit, are you kidding me, man?
Lawnmower.
So the story that he was Trevor was talking about is, I'm doing a load for some guys. I get a hold of a friend of mine who's got a shrimp boat that like a trawler type of vessel that can take on loads from the mothership, and went and loaded it with the 15,000 pounds. we take on, I don't know, 250 bales of weed. They only give me 110 bales of weed. When I deliver the weed, they ask me, where's the rest of the weed? And I don't have an answer. This is all they gave me. So I go back to my guy and said, hey.
He said the big guy grabbed you up, right?
They tell me that there's 250 bales were put on the boat. Where's the rest of the weed? So he comes back, he says, well, they told me they hit a reef. I said, really? Did the boat sink? They said, yeah, the boat's fucking underwater. So he gives me a coordinate and says, nobody can find the boat. There's no boat. So I go over to the stash house, and when I get in there, there's this like really large, Irish-looking, sunburnt, red-headed guy, 330 pounds. Looks like he's a big guy. He grabs me by my neck and just yanks me up against the wall and tells me, I want the fucking rest of my weed or I'm fucking killing you. And I go, look, I'm doing my best I can. I'll try to find it for you. Look, here's what happened. The Cuban smuggler of the shrimp boat was a Cuban guy. He's the one that ripped us off for the 100-some bales.
For the rest of the load.
Right. But they find out who this guy is.
They went and got
They went and got him at his warehouses, and they started it was a big scene where they tried to burn down the warehouses, a gun battle. When that happened, I see this all on the news the next day. I said, Tim, now I'm like, oh shit, I got my fingers somewhere in this. I said, you know what? I'm going to stop all this shit. I'm going to do this shit myself because I don't want to have to answer to people like this. So that's when I bought a 68-footer and went and loaded it with the 15,000 pounds.
Probably a lot safer.
About 2 years. It took me about 2 years later to get the boat ready and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they found the weed and everything.
No, they never found the weed. They fucking did a
kamikaze mission.
A fucking fire in the warehouses. The weed never got recovered.
The fire
The weed never got recovered. The Miami Cubans was at war with these other smugglers, and I got my ass out of the picture.
You were out. Seacrest out.
So,
I'm on my own.
I'm done.
Have a nice day.
I'm not answering to nobody anymore.
Yeah.
It's too much drama. If drama starts coming in your life, you don't need it, man. Move on, man. Listen.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you, Randy. I really appreciate you coming up here to Boston.
All right, man. Thank you.
Fucking unbelievable story.
Very good.
Fucking unbelievable character.
How's your wife doing?
Oh, well, hey.
that's...
Can I shout out, man?
Yeah, fucking...
I just want to give a
Shout out to everybody.
I want to give a shout out to my wife, man.
Pam?
Pam is... we got back together. She, just amazing. We're blessed.
How long ago was that?
A couple years ago.
Good for you, man. Was that your first love?
Yeah.
You said you met her when she was 15?
15 years old, yeah.
Whoa, she must have been a looker.
Yeah. So we go way back. We got 2 grandkids that are 8 years old. So
Grandkids?
Yeah, 2
What
boys.
are their names?
Shane and Duran.
Good kids?
Good kids, man. I love hanging out with them. And, I feel really blessed to be able to support these cannabis prisoners and their families and all the sponsors that come out and help Freedom Grow is an amazing thing. We're blessed to have people on board and to help us, and we're always in need of help. So please check out freedomgrow.org. Check us out. We're always going to
And buy the book, because I guess all the proceeds.
Every 100% of the proceeds here at every event
It's going to freedomgrow.org?
freedomgrow.org.
Now that's pretty stand up.
Wow.
Well, I think, you know what? We got to definitely cover the spectrum.
Yeah, this is by far the best. Thank you, Randy, for coming on.
Listen, thank you guys. And I tell you, we're only here for a short time of life. This journey, you think it's fucking long. But next thing you know, what the
Just
fuck?
the other day, I was 20, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Just the other day.
You know what I mean? And as we get older, time accelerates faster on us.
It sure seems that way.
Isn't it suck?
And,
I don't think our minds ever stopped thinking that we're 20, though.
yeah, no, listen.
Just the other day, I was 20.
So we have the ability to make a difference, each day in someone else's life. And
Right.
It's really simple. It can be done just by a smile or a handshake or how you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? Sure.
Just that, by putting a smile on somebody's, it's amazing.
Well, I'm glad you got out.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Randy, you got your own
Absolutely.
file now, 3 pages. We're going to add to it in December.
December Turk Basil.
Yeah,
Right.
we're going down.
That's
We're
3
gonna rock.
pages, about 7 words on each page, but it's all right.
Somebody get Rick another drink over there.
What are you drinking over there?
Cheers.
I was drinking scotch.
Oh, nice.
I'm a little parched though now at this point. Thank you for coming on, Randy.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Bunch of alcoholics.
Yeah, Rob's sober. That's a wrap. That was pretty good.
Dan, we'll take a picture. We hit it.
Right.
Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Wake up in the morning, got a bag on my schedule. Niggas talking, bitches talking, they is not on my level. Check the time, wrist, rollie, rose gold on the bezel. Grab my keys and get my cell and hit the door with a shovel. It's time to get it out the mud, 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 out the mud. It's time to get it.